Hey guys, um, this is a different setup today. Um, I'm back home from school. I came back home for a bit in the middle of my co op work term. I was able to come home for the holidays for Easter weekend since it was a long weekend and I had Friday off. So now I'm back home, and then since I work remotely, or I did work remotely, I decided to stay home until I go back to school for my study term. So I'm home for about like 10 or so days, like another week here, and then I go back. So this is why it's just a blank wall today. Just a blank white wall. I'm in my basement right now. It is currently 1:39. You cannot see that, but anyways, 1:39 in the morning. I have to go to church tomorrow. Hopefully I can sing. Sometimes I'm in the band, so I sing with them when I get the chance or when I'm back home. So anyways, today's topic is, just because your problems are small doesn't mean that it's not something you shouldn't be worried about. I think that made sense, but I will elaborate. So, just because you have a small problem, or your problem isn't the biggest thing in the universe, or maybe it's multiple little problems, doesn't mean that it's not something that isn't important, or not something that's going to affect you, or it's not something you shouldn't worry about or complain about, because everyone is going through different things in their life. And yes, some things are a lot more, like a lot worse than others. Some people will face traumatic problems, stressful problems, detrimental problems, like health issues, financial issues, relationship issues, mental health issues, maybe even go through an injury of some sort, or have some sort of roadblock, or maybe their entire future or entire dream is ruined because of something, or they had a goal and it failed. No matter what it is, you are always entitled to feel bad and to just grieve, not feel bad, but grieve that issue. And it's okay to feel sad, and it's okay to deal with it, because some people feel that, my problem isn't as big. There are children starving, there are families in poverty, there are homeless people, and there are people dying of cancer, which are all true. That is all true, and that's not something that we should completely disregard. Like, some people are struggling more than others, and it's important that, we all are considerate of each other, and we all, help each other through our problems, and to not make anyone feel less about themselves, or like your problem is less important. But it's also important too that you realize you do have a problem, and whatever problem that you're facing, know that it is valued. You are valued, and you deserve to deal with that problem. You don't need to discard it. You don't deserve to let it pass. You don't have to always put on a brave face just because your problem isn't as big, or maybe someone close to you is dealing with an even bigger problem. In those cases, everyone's struggling, and everyone, no one has a perfect life. No one is never going to have a single problem in their entire life, you know um and it is important to be there for one another. And I completely agree that, if someone close to you is going through a situation, maybe you are too, maybe someone in their family passed away, maybe their pet passed away, maybe someone just got diagnosed with like a really bad disease, or bad diagnosis, or something of sort, maybe it's them. It's important to be there for them. And I do think we should all be there for the people that we love and the people that we cherish. And like, I think we also need to be there for others, but we also need to be there for ourselves. And just because someone else is dealing with something major doesn't mean that the things in our life don't matter. It doesn't mean that, oh, like, I I'm trying to think of an example of like a so-called minuscule problem. Maybe like you were working on your laptop and you have like a cup next to you full of water or a beverage, and it spills and it damages your laptop. That's an issue. That's more money you have to fix. Maybe what you're working on could have gotten erased, deleted. Like, you never know. That's kind of an irritating problem. Now you have to go fix it. You have to see what's wrong. You have to make sure that all the information you have in that computer is backed up, the data is there. That's annoying. Say again, the same day you stub your toe, or say you almost got hit by a car crossing the street, or even something smaller, like say you were trying to fix something and it broke even more, or you just were trying to put something together and the whole thing, like say you're trying to do a puzzle and the whole thing falls on the table and it shatters. Or say you're even in the bathroom. This happened to me. I was in the bathroom and I have like one of those gua shas. It's called a gua sha, and it's where you can like, it's like a face form. I don't know how to call it, like a face massager, or like it shapes your face in a way. Like you can kind of try to massage your face with it. And those things are made out of like maybe like a really cheap glass material. Not like glass, but I don't know what kind of material it is, but if you drop it, it will shatter. And dropped I've already gone through like two or three of them. Like, sometimes I feel like when I'm going through a bad time or I'm having a bad day, it continues to get worse. Like a multitude of like minuscule things will happen to me throughout that day that will just almost want to make me crash out and send me over the edge. Like, it happens, and I almost feel like karma is out to get me in those moments. But sometimes the stress of that, just those small little things that accumulate over the day, just is enough to send you over the edge, and it's enough to question your entire existence, and you start thinking negatively, and you just fall into like a sadness of some sort, because you're like, why are all these things happening to me? Like, little things. And that's valid enough for you to feel some sort of anger, or to need a break from something, or just to take a breather. And a lot of our issues and our problems, in a way, I do think that we need to let out our emotions, and it can be in whatever form that you want. It doesn't have to be through therapy, it doesn't have to be through talking, it doesn't have to be through exercise, it doesn't have to be through, like, it can be through anything. Like, honestly, some people just need to, if they're stressed out and they're working and they just can't concentrate, they're so angry, like things are just bottling up inside, it's just go take a nap, like a 20-30 minute nap, or go walk, take like a 15-minute 30-minute walk, or go eat a snack, or go hug someone that you love, or go talk to someone that you love, or go scream in your pillow, or punch your pillow, or even go somewhere like where no one else is, or your secret spot. Go to your secret spot that calms you down. Meditate, do exercise, cook, clean, do whatever you need to calm down, because obviously if you can't concentrate and you're just emotions are scattered everywhere, there's no way you're going to be able to achieve something or do something great, or 100% concentrate on what you need to do. until you've calmed down or until you've kind of had time to process things. If it's something, if it's like a due date that needs to get done, maybe that day, I'm hoping you can take at least 10 minutes to calm down and then go back to it with a fresh mind and a clear headspace. If it's something that, like, oh, I have to get this done, like I have like 20 minutes to complete it and I still need to like proofread it, do this, do that, again, maybe take a 5-second breather or just scroll on your phone. This can be a little tricky because I know when we scroll, we want to keep scrolling, but or just be on your phone for like 2 minutes, or like literally just get up and do 10 jumping jacks, or go quickly to the kitchen and get a snack that you really like or something. Like take like even a 30-second break, and maybe you'll feel better about the whole thing. Maybe you can just clear your mind a little bit and then go back, and hopefully you'll have more of a fresh mindset and you're able to concentrate more. Just dissociate for a little bit and try to think about what you're feeling, think about your thoughts and your emotions and what you need and who you need and where you need to be, and just try to do that for yourself. Because I will say this till the day I die, but we all need ourselves, and we need to make sure that we ourselves are secure and somewhat in a good headspace and a good mindset before we attempt anything else or before we help anyone else, especially too if someone else is struggling. It's really hard to comfort someone and tell every that person that it's okay if you yourself are not okay. um and I a lot of us are hypocrites, me included. We give people advice that we don't necessarily do ourselves. And again, this is also things I'm trying to implement in my life and to remind myself of as well, because you know some of us don't really think about ourselves. Sometimes we don't get a chance to, depending on our situation. Maybe our family is really hectic. Maybe we're responsible for a lot of things. Maybe in our jobs or our friendships, where people lean on us too a lot and expect us and rely on us. They expect us to do things, and a lot of weight is put on our shoulders. A lot of pressure is put over our heads, and we have to perform well or whatever it is. It's hard for us to take that time for ourselves and make sure that we're okay. We're kind of just like go, go, go. And I know in those moments it can be hard. Um, but again, I just say at least try to incorporate stuff that you love within that routine whenever you can, whenever maybe if you get like 10 minutes of time, or maybe even before you go to bed, or during your lunch break or something, whenever you have time, just try and do something for yourself. Because when we fuel ourselves, when we make ourselves happy, then we have a lot more energy, a lot more motivation, and we want to put more effort into doing things for other people and succeeding and making and achieving things. So just try and take a little bit of time. For me, whenever I have free time, I always try to like, I feel like I need to always be outside. If it's a nice day, if it's summer, I always need to be out on a walk or go like a walk slash run. I'll go to like a school near me and use the track, and I'll run some laps, I'll walk, I'll walk around, I'll be on my phone, I'll listen to music, I'll listen to YouTube videos, I'll listen to podcasts. And I really just try to be outside and getting exercise. I'll also make sure to do like a workout video, whether it's whatever I'm feeling that day. I'm like, you know what, I think I'm going to do a 30-minute workout, or I'm going to do like a 20-minute one, or I'm going to do 15 minutes of this, 15 minutes of that, whatever it is. Like, I want to use weights. I don't want to use weights. Like I try to push myself, even though I don't want to use weights. I might still try to find a workout that uses weights and see if I can manage it. Or, if they're doing a workout that I don't like or exercise that I don't like, I'll do something else. Like if they're doing a weight workout, I might do an ab workout within that 30-minute interval that they're exercising. Like whatever it is, alternate it to yourself and what you want to do. But even in those little moments, I'm still altering things to how I want to do them. And this is also reminds me of another video that I'm going to film, which is to not be insecure about your insecurities. But I will talk about that in a previous video. But this is about problems, and not all problems need to be solved or get solved right away. Again, some problems are bigger than others. Some problems we have to grieve with, we have to process, we have to really take the time to come up with a solution. And some solutions are easier than other solutions. But just know that your problem, no matter how big or small, is valued, and you deserve to have your emotions and feel whatever you need to feel. And I hope that this is a problem in your life that you can get through it. And I know that times are tough and circumstances will happen unexpectedly, whether it's mentally or physically. Things will happen unexpectedly. And a lot of the problems or things that happen unexpectedly that I faced, sometimes I look back at it and I say, maybe it happened for a reason. I think it's just me trying to problem solve again. But I always think like maybe that happened for a reason. Like literally about 2 or 3 weeks before my prom and graduation from from high school, I fractured my foot doing the most stupidest thing on earth. I was literally skipping in the park, like not skipping, but like skipping with a skipping rope in the park, because again, exercise is how I de-stress, and there was a lot of stress going on with me and a few other people I was close to, and it kind of was just all getting to my head. And so, I kind of got up, it's not early, but midday, and I was skipping with a skipping rope in the park, and I was skipping and running in a way. And and there's like these like black cement blocks, like almost like these huge chunks of concrete on the floor, and they're like black. But then, and I was skipping it's like a park, but it's basically like a school, like right near my house. And they had like a little area for like the playground, whatever, like if they play basketball around there. But then I was skipping, and I wouldn't say running, but I was skipping forward and like in a way running, but not super fast. Like I wasn't sprinting, but I was like kind of running a little bit. And my foot stopped on that cement black concrete block, and I think it like twists, it didn't twist, like it wasn't my ankle, it was the bottom of my foot, and it for some reason it fell the wrong way, and the bone in my foot kind of, sorry, this is a little bit explicit, like it just a fractured foot, it cracked. It wasn't a complete break, but it was a little crack. So it didn't take too long. I think it took about 2 months to heal. It wasn't that bad. And I had fractured my foot before when I was very little, I think around 8. And similar thing, I was running down my driveway. I think it was like the same like some concrete driveway, and I fell the wrong way. I don't think it was. It might have been the same foot, but I don't think so. But I don't think it was in the same spot. I think they're two different spots, but it might have been the same foot. So yeah, I fractured my foot about 2-3 weeks before my prom and graduation. And guess what? I had to miss like the last few days of school. I had to stay home for a bit. I only went to school to take my exams, and I had to be in like crutches and stuff like that. And it was kind of a lot. And then I had to go the entire time to prom and graduation in crutches. And I didn't get a cast, but I got like one of those like puffy boots that it's on like a boot that you can walk in. And I had gotten one again when I was 8 and I broke my foot. I think when I was 8, it was more of a break because I think that took a lot longer to heal. I don't remember how long it took, but that took a lot longer to heal, and I actually needed a cast, and they were wondering if I needed surgery for that. And thankfully I didn't. But that break was a lot worse. I think it was an actual break, and it was a lot worse. And this fracture was like a little crack. So I didn't need a cast, I just needed the boot. And for prom, it was kind of bad because I don't think I could put weight on it at that time. But for graduation, I was a brave one. And you know what, like when we have to go up and get our graduation certificate to from when we graduate high school, we have to go up, and then you shake the hand, you take the picture, and they announce your name, and they say like graduated, where you're planning on going, if you're going to university, if you're going in the workforce, whatever. And I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to use my crutches. I'm not going to go up there and start wobbling up there, and I'm going to own it. So beforehand, my foot had gotten a little bit better, and I was practicing walking on it. Like, not, I don't think without the boot, but I was walking on it and with the boot. And I'm like, I'm going to try to not use the crutches when I go up. So, I was trying to walk. I had like my heels on one foot and then my boot. And, I was trying to walk. So then during the graduation, I was able to not use my crutches and get up there, take my photo, and we had to walk all the way around. So we were at like a gym. It was a pretty big gym, so there was like rows of chairs where all the graduates were sitting. And when you took your picture, you had to go up to the front and you had to walk all the way around the chairs. And then there's like also pews where like all the family members were sitting. So I took my picture, and then I remember one of the teachers asking one of the boys, like, because I think we went in maybe the order of our last names. I'm not sure, but they asked one of the teachers, or maybe the rows that we were sitting in. So they asked the teacher asked one of the boys in front of me, like, oh, try to help her out, make sure she's okay, like to walking and stuff like that. I didn't need no man's help. I didn't need no one's help, okay? No man, no woman, no anyone. I did it by myself. I got up there and it was kind of like a happy moment for me in a sense because I kind of was able to prove to myself that I'm strong enough, and even injured, I can go up there and own it and make the best out of it, and I don't need anyone's help and I don't need anyone's pity. I can just go up there and get my diploma or my certificate and be a boss. And that was essentially how I feel like the new chapter of my life started. That was like one of my first steps of becoming I guess, a grown up, you would say, or really proving myself out there. And I remember when I was walking past the pews where all the loved ones were sitting, like I heard like my mom and like my aunts and my godmother and everyone like cheering for me. They're like, "Go Jade, go Jade," and like it was nice to have that appreciation. Um, but in a way, that's like a problem that I was able to not necessarily solve, but make the best out of. Um, but again, not all problems you're going to be able to solve or make the best situation out of. Some problems are really hard. Um, but it's also important to try to be resilient when you know you can, and just believe in yourself. And again, it's so hard to say this, especially someone who is in their own head about a lot of things. And I think about a lot of things, and even now, I am heavily struggling with my own mental health and things going on in my brain and things that I'm thinking. I am always struggling with this, and I'm today struggling with this. This is not something that, like, oh, I fixed this. Like, I'm so positive now and I'm like so happy. Like, nope, not one bit, not one bit. But I know deep down in my heart that I know the right thing to do and I know what to think and I know what to believe. It's really hard to get yourself to do that or to put yourself into a position where you want to do that. A lot of the time, at least for me, I like to sit in my sadness and my misery and just, but it's also good to allow yourself to feel sad and allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. That is also extremely really healthy in my opinion. Sometimes I kind of just want to feel upset or feel angry and let my emotions just come out somehow. And a lot of it to me is going on walks. Sometimes after me and someone have argued, I think I'm definitely someone who needs to take my own time and think about things, because I think after the argument, I'm still very riled up and not everything is resolved for me. And I need to take that time to go on a like a nice little walk and literally just vent to myself. Like, I will be a crazy person on the street, like yelling and screaming at the top of my lungs, like very upset and angry and just like very mad about the situation and like trying to vent out my side of the story and why I'm upset. And I will be venting that to myself, but it really acts as therapy for me because I'm able to get my side out. And honestly, I'm the one who's listening, which is kind of, it's not sad, it's just a little like, it's comforting in a way because if you vent to yourself or if you're a person who likes to talk to yourself, you're always in a way gonna have your back, and you can also see where you're in the wrong too. Like, if you say things out loud to yourself, you might be like, oh, you know what, I guess maybe that was a little bit wrong of me, or maybe I shouldn't have done that, kind of thing, or like maybe I overreacted, or whatever it is. You can stand up for yourself and give yourself that comfort and allow yourself to vent and ramble about what your side of the story. But it's also good to, I guess, see where you went wrong, or anything that needs to come out will come out. um but ultimately it is important to have a talk with the person that you are arguing about. Again, I need to take my advice, but it's good to always communicate and have that sense of like communication with that person, um, so that you don't hold any resentment, or so that the situation won't have a chance to come up again and start this whole battle and rivalry again. Hopefully in the future it will be able to be resolved and not happen again, or you guys can learn from it or do better the next time it comes up. But yeah, it's always good to have communication. But during the moment, if you really need to just get your anger out, you can't really talk about the situation, you have to take a break, by all means, take a break, because that is me. I think sometimes I might shut down in the middle of it. And then I need a little bit of a break. And I'm also scared of confrontation. So yeah, sometimes I won't want to bring it up again. But you know, I wouldn't say bring it up right out of the blue if you guys are having like a good time. But maybe after you guys have taken a break and you want to hash it out again, not hash it out, but bring it up so that it can, and hopefully this time there will be some sort of solution or compromise or understanding. Then yeah, say your piece and try to listen to them and understand what they are bothered about, what they need you to work on, and what you need them to work on. And I guess this is like a problem within individuals, but again, any problem is worth thinking about, and don't try to lose sleep over it. um that is again easier said than done, but it all depends on the problem. And just know that you're strong for dealing with whatever you're dealing with, going through the obstacles that life throws down at you. And just know that when you continue to try and solve things or stand up against things or keep going, that just shows the world that you're more tough than you look. You're stronger, you're more resilient, and that it's not going to take this little thing to beat you down entirely. And just take one day at a time and know that you're not perfect. The world is not perfect. Life is not perfect. Others are not perfect. And that things will happen. It's all about how you respond and how you think about it and how you go about things. And hopefully you'll continue to learn. You can still make mistakes, because we're all human, we're not perfect, and things will happen. So yeah, this was just my little TED talk about problems, and no matter how minuscule or gigantic they are worth seeing, and they are worth paying attention to, and they are worth your time, and they are worth you feeling whatever you need to feel. And you are also worth it, and you deserve a lot in this world. You deserve so much from all the shit that you go through, and you are an amazing person that should just be happy, and you deserve everything. So, yeah, have a good night. Thank you so much for listening, and